When I did my last video about what to eat during IBS flare-ups, a lot of people stated that it was more about what not to eat than what to eat, and that there was nothing left to eat. So that wasn't the intention that I wanted to give people. So I'd like to clarify some things that I thought would be very helpful. Hi, I'm Dr. Stephen Wangen, the founder and medical director of the IBS Treatment Center. We specialize in helping people figure out exactly how to treat their IBS and how to get better. And each individual patient is treated very differently. We don't give our patients the kind of generic general information about what to eat that you can get on a video. But of course, this is a video, right? So we can't customize dietary recommendations because we don't yet know anything about you or what is underlying your IBS. And we'd love to help you figure that out, but I can give you some relatively common threads when it comes to dealing with your IBS flare-up. Now, I'm going to recommend that you do two major things. One is avoid some of the most common trigger foods, and two, make the food that you do eat, make it very simple to digest. And I'll explain exactly how to do those two things. Now, most online recommendations are extremely generic, right? They tell you to avoid things like coffee and alcohol and spicy foods and fatty foods. And that's usually a good idea. But I can tell you from experience that doing that, although it might be a little helpful, is probably not going to get you very far. It's like telling someone to stop rubbing salt in their wound. Of course, don't do that. Don't rub salt in your wound, right? But what you really need to know is how do you help heal that wound? So to help recover faster from an IBS flare-up, I recommend that you prioritize avoiding three big food groups. One is dairy, the other is gluten, and the other is sugar, because those are very often issues with various patients, and those three big ones can probably get you a long ways. Now, if you've never done that before, then it's gonna feel like you have to avoid everything that you eat, because if you eat kind of anything in the typical American diet, almost everything is made with at least one of those three ingredients, right? And when you stop to look at your foods and you start reading ingredients, you're gonna notice that. So I know this is a lot easier to say than to do, but it might pay off. However, even though it feels like there's a lot of foods that you're avoiding, there are a ton of foods left to eat, like a ton of stuff. And I'm sure that if you just slow down and stop and think, okay, what could I eat? You can make a long, long list of those things if you just put a little thought into it. And I know that there are thousands of people who've already done this, including myself. So I know it can be done. So ask around, look online. You're going to find all kinds of stuff that's dairy-free and gluten-free and sugar-free. Now, the second thing, ironically, that you should do is avoid raw food and high-protein foods. And what I mean by that is like many healthy foods like salads and nuts and carrots and apples and meats. These things take a lot of energy to break down and to digest. And that's really hard on your digestive tract, even on a good day. So when you're having an IBS flare-up, your digestive tract is inflamed and irritated, and it's probably not feeling up to breaking down things like raw veggies and nuts and things like the skin on an apple or meats. These are all really tough to break down things. Those are going to be hard on your digestive tract and likely only make you feel worse. Now, your digestive system needs a vacation so that it can heal, right? When you stop to think about it, right? That's what it needs. And you can give it a vacation by doing a couple of different things. One is really basically simply to fast for a day or so that it doesn't need to do anything, right? Your digestive tract won't need to do anything if you're not eating. You can allow it some time to recover. That's probably not a bad idea. The other thing is to make sure that all of your food is really super easy to digest, meaning that it's blended or that it's cut up into really small pieces or that it's just really chewed super well. Now, One way to do all of this is to turn everything into a smoothie. And when I mean smoothie, when I say smoothie, I don't mean like the typical fruit smoothies out there, right? They might have dairy in them. They are just full of fruit and fruit sugars. And maybe you've got whey protein in there, which is also dairy. That's probably, all that's wrong, right? That's probably too sweet and it's full of stuff I just told you not to eat. So that's not what I mean. That's not what I want you to do with a smoothie. What I mean is that I want you to eat healthy food, but it will be much easier to digest if you blend it up, because blending the food is basically pre-digesting it, right? It's already broken down because you blended it up. So this includes blending stuff like veggies and nuts, right? Or eating nut butters instead of the nuts themselves, because nut butters are broken up nuts, right? And same thing with meats. You can blend those up, you name it. You just think outside the box for this one, because it's not your typical way of thinking about food, right? Most people think about only blending fruits, and that's kind of it. But you can literally blend anything, and it will help a lot in these cases where you're in the midst of an IBS flare-up. Now, the other way to accomplish something similar to this is to cook things really well, or to eat them as soups, because soup is already stuff that's really well cooked usually and potentially broken down. And that's going to help make it much easier to digest your food. And do these things for a day or two or longer if you need to, and you'll probably recover a lot faster from an IBS flare-up than you would have otherwise. Now, this isn't going to solve everyone's problem, but I know for a fact that it's going to help a lot of people because it has, right? A lot of people have done this. However, it's also probably not the cure for your IBS, because once you have the cure, you don't need to make your food super simple, and you probably won't need to avoid so many things. And you won't get IBS flare-ups anymore either. That's our expectation for every patient at the IBS Treatment Center. So if you want to really dial things in and figure out exactly how to solve your IBS, then give us a call, because we'd love to work with you. We work with people all over the US and the world via telemedicine, and we would be happy to work with you regardless of where you are. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more insight into digestive health. Thank you for watching.